really sure how to best explain this, but what I'm gonna try to explain is that heaven and hell don't actually exist. And also how good and bad don't exist, and how positive and negative don't exist. Because if you just started using your third eye, that's something like really important that you need to understand. Because most of the things in the universe, which is gigantic, are not human. There are some things that are like light creatures and we call them angels, or like light beings and we call them angels. And I mean, yeah, they are helpful, and yeah, they do protect us, and yeah, that is pretty accurate. But there's like a million other things inside this universe that aren't human and don't have light bodies, and they're aliens. And a lot of people, when they start using their third eye, they'll start seeing stuff like that, and then they'll be like, oh, it's a demon. It's a demon from the gates of hell. And I'm seeing demons. When in reality, what you're seeing is almost always a high frequency extraterrestrial being who is masculine, who has muscles, and is just chilling, trying to help you. But because we all believe in heaven and hell and angels and demons and all these other things, they're limited in the ways that they can help us because of our false beliefs. But what is really going on is that those are your spirit guides, and they're trying to help you, but it's hard for them to help because of all of this stuff, right? So step one, heaven and hell don't exist at all. That is explaining the dimensions. Like, it's referring to the dimensions. So when you're at the top, everything is just source God energy, right? And then the source energy broke itself down into smaller pieces in order to understand itself, and they broke themselves down in smaller pieces in order to understand themselves, and so on and so forth. As you start at the beginning, everything is understanding, and the purpose of everything is understanding, and there isn't really like any sacrifice or lack or anything like that, because there is so much understanding. And then as you fall lower in dimension, you're going lower in frequency of vibration of the beings' atoms inside their bodies. That gets a little complicated, but in short, whatever your frequency is depends on your beliefs and your level of understanding, and that depends on what dimension you're in, what you're able to access. So I have a whiteboard and I drew a picture so I can better explain it. Hold on, let me get it. Okay. Alright, so let's say that this is the green stuff is the amount of understanding available, and let's say that this pink stuff is the false beliefs and false concepts that make us believe that we should sacrifice. And so as you start off in the lower dimensions, a lot of people, it's really easy for them to access 1 through 5, but you can operate in more of a sacrifice and less of an understanding, and then as you raise your frequency, you understand more, so that understanding transcends a little bit of that low frequency energy, and it slowly starts to shift. as you move up. And so, yeah, there's not any hell, but there is the first and second dimensions, where yes, is a lot more sacrifice than here in the third and fourth dimensions where we are. Yeah, we're in the fourth dimension right now. I digress. Anyways, so yeah, as we're in the third and fourth dimension, and all of our governments and all of our beliefs are around like we have to sacrifice to attain things and we aren't already abundant, as we get more understanding of the universe, we can transcend those and go to the next one. I temporarily lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so anyways, so your guides are somewhere, your higher selves are somewhere between like 5 and all the way up here, right? And so they can understand us sacrificing down here, but they have transcended it, and they're trying to help us transcend it. But because they are extraterrestrial beings resonating way up here, whenever they come into contact with us and try to teach us things, first they have to lower their frequency, and that may make it look scarier or more intimidating for them to appear to us. But for them to help us the best, it's easiest if we understand, like, okay, this is an extraterrestrial being and they're trying to help me understand, so I can transcend all of my low frequency stuff down here on the third and fourth dimensions. And so, like, when I say, like, there's no good and bad, there's just high and low frequency. So with the low frequency, there is more sacrifice and less understanding, and what that leads to is like low frequency emotions like anxiety and sadness and depression and anger and all that kind of stuff. And then that leads to low frequency emotions like actually getting physically hurt or physically hurting other people. That's why the world is the way it is. But we are transcending all of this, so we are all raising all of our frequencies and understanding that we don't have to sacrifice and that we are already abundant. We just have to energetically claim it with the universe and whatnot. And so, yeah. I think that kind of gets it. I understand that this is the first take that I did to try to explain a very complicated subject. But if you're just starting out, the only thing you need to know is hell doesn't exist. I mean, heaven kind of, as you reach up, yeah, it gets nicer and nicer and nicer. And as you go down in dimensions, it gets scarier and more sacrificing and worse feeling, and or not worse feeling, but more low frequency feeling, and yada da da da. The only last point I have to say is that high and low frequency are both equal. High frequency is not better than low frequency. Low frequency is not bad. High frequency is not bad. None of it is good. None of it is bad. It just is what it is. There is bad in high frequency. I know y'all seen God flood the earth with the fucking Noah's Ark and shit. Yeah, I know. So there's good and bad. And the lower frequencies, like, think about the person that you sacrifice the most for. Really think about that. And then remember how you felt and what was inside your heart when you sacrificed the most for that person in your lowest frequency. That was a insanely noble act, and that's the good and the bad. So neither are good, neither are bad. It just is what it is, and that is determined by the level of understanding. So to use this with your third eye and not be scared, that's all you need to know, I'm pretty sure. I'm sorry if it's a little crazy because I just woke up. It was the first time I tried to do this, and all night I was like, how am I about to explain this? But when I first started, I didn't really need an explanation. All I needed to know is just that hell doesn't exist, and this being that I'm seeing with my third eye, I know he helps me. So yeah, but now you have this crazy level of understanding. So yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day and do something beautiful outside. And I don't know if y'all have heard the thing about talking to trees. Y'all should go try to talk to some trees.